Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today on the podcast, we have a real estate educator, a syndicator involved in real estate investing for a full cycle, and also has a master's in spiritual psychology. Please welcome to the show, Christina Suter.
Yes. Thank you, John. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity.
Christina, I always like to start off at the top by asking folks how they got into the real estate space.
I can thank my mom. So I'll keep it super short because I know you're short content. So basically, when I was 12 years old, my mom said, hey, you see these little tiny numbers in this newspaper? Those things are called stocks. And if you buy some, they'll give you money back. And I went, that's a good idea. And so I started buying stocks when I was 12. And then at 17, my mom's health got really bad. You're too young. I'm sorry, Dylan, but you're too young to remember third-degree smog alerts in the LA area. And my mom's like, I can't live here anymore. Like literally, she would have to go to the hospital if she had gotten too much pollution in her lungs. So she said, who's going to take care of the house? I said, I'll take care of it. And then she gave it to me. The furniture, the title to the house, all became mine. And so all of a sudden at 17, as I was entering into college to get my bachelor's in business, I became a real estate investor. And I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue. Well, later I bought a condo off my brother. I bought another house for my mom to live in. And lo and behold, time, hugely important in real estate as a compounding effect. Time, about 10 to 15 years later, this was 2086, this was in 2000, so it was 14 years later, I had a house I was selling that had more than tripled in value. I bought it for $350,000. I was selling it for 1.2, 1.3, and I was pulling out $750,000, almost $1 million worth of gains from the house. Now what am I going to do? Am I going to keep doing single families? No, I moved into the multifamily space with my own cash. And that's how I started in real estate.
So I want to get granular and talk about the journey getting into the real estate space, because it seems like if I listen to that story, it seems like, oh, well, it was a success immediately. Did you have mentorship in there, or was it kind of go figure it out on your own?
Okay, so no, it's not always a success. Let's be really clear and let's be really honest about that. It is not always a success. No, it was 3 little investments along the way that my mom helped me up with being successful about. My practically ignoring it, just enjoying my checks from my property management company. The condo I bought from my brother, I bought from $127,000, went down to like $80,000, but I didn't have to sell it. I had a Section 8 mom with her 2 teenage boys in there, so I didn't have to sell it. And then later when I sold it for about $128,000, but that was a whole cycle later, right? So it's not like it's always easy. It's not. Talk to me about 2009. Okay, well, if you want to have a conversation about hard, let's talk about that. That was hard, like profoundly hard for me as an investor. I lost.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
I was almost at my first, you know how you have stair steps of financial freedom?
Yeah.
I was almost at my first marker. And I was like, oh man, I'm so cool. I got it covered. I'm a rock star. I'm so smart. Yeah, no, I wasn't. No, it was 2008 and 9. I burned through $450,000 worth of reserves trying to keep my projects up. I was flipping in 2 different states. I was in a condo conversion in LA. I owned in Hawaii. I owned in Texas. I owned in Tennessee. I owned in Virginia. I owned in Los Angeles. I had 350 doors, 50 of my own and 300 I shared. My whole world fell apart. I had way too many projects that were stalled, not working, and were not going to come to successful conclusion. That was a humbling experience. Truly humbling. I remember the moment where I'm like, I am such a loser. I should totally just give up. Like, just stop. Like, if I'm this dumb, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, right? And then the moment where I went, but if I stop, who am I going to be? Am I going to be proud of myself? Am I going to be happy with myself? Am I going to be content with what I did and the decision? Because I'm in my 30s. I'm like, am I really going to stop? And I know I'm not. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to face it. I'm going to clean it up. I've lost $500,000, but I'm still going to do what I need to do to make it right.
You know, that's
so I doubled down and I learned.
That's one of the interesting things about real estate, right? Is you think there's maybe an end game or a destination, but then the rules and the playing field changes. It's like you're playing soccer and then the next day you're playing tennis. And it's like, well, these are 2 different sports, but I'm still an athlete. And a lot of times that's how real estate is. You know, so many people were making money hand over fist, for instance, in the mortgage and lending space. And then private money existed, but it got even bigger and bigger post all of the regulation and Dodd-Frank and everything that went into that. And, you know, when I got into real estate a handful of years ago, it was in the wholesale space. And I think people knew about wholesale then. And then right now it seems like everybody is a wholesaler, maybe too many wholesalers. But I think the constant change, the constant problem solving, being able to adapt, that's really the hallmark of a real estate operator, real estate investor who's going to be in it long term. Christina, I want to pivot a bit here and ask you about the real estate education, because I know you're involved pretty heavily in that side of things. When did that come about?
You're very generous, Dylan. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I started I was a small business management consultant. And then 2007, right? So I started investing in 1986. In 2007, my business coach said to me, why don't you do real estate investing advisement? I'm like, wait a minute. No, I do business advisement because I have a bachelor's in business and a master's in spiritual psychology. I advise on business. He's like, but you've been investing for all these years, and an extra source of income would be helpful right now. 2007, mark the date, right? And I'm like, that would be good, right? Because I didn't want to keep building, my capital is slipping, and I didn't want to keep living on capital, no income, right? Obviously, I was doing flips, I was doing condo conversions, right? Lot split in Hawaii, condo conversion in LA, right? So I had a lot of projects that were now negative because they were in mid-process. And so I went, okay, let's do that. So the consulting work was first, then it became, hey, there's so many people that need core skill sets. That's when I started creating what at the time was called a Real Estate 101 and the advanced course. I did that through my consulting work, but now we have a company, ITI Education and Networking, that both has leadership programs, mindset programs on how to be successful, because real estate is always surfing the wave. Like you talked about, it's still a sport. Sometimes you're playing golf, sometimes you're playing soccer. And we started creating that more formally. about 2 years ago. And that's how ITI Networking and Education kind of got born, it was meant to be a meeting that was a hybrid with an educational program.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So are the folks that were involved initially maybe prior experience in the real estate space and wanted to get into more of the investing, or was it people from all backgrounds, all walks of life?
No, all backgrounds, all walks of life. So the mentoring, the consulting work that I started in 2007 was really for either people who sold a company but wanted to use that capital to get into real estate and they didn't want to make mistakes. They needed somebody who could sort of guide them, or for people who had a portfolio and they didn't like it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're a professional investor, right? So you've invested, you've been a wholesaler, you can be a flipper. Like, hey, I'm a flipper and I've got, 20 flips going, but guess what? I don't like being there. Where is my freedom? How do I get to freedom? And that's the conversation that I focus on, whether it's somebody who sold a business, somebody who's an active professional, somebody who has a portfolio they don't like. I had one client who said, "Loud, I just don't talk to my property management company. I don't like it." I'm like, well, maybe we should change something in your portfolio. If your experience is, I don't want to engage with it. I'm like, okay, there's a way to have a portfolio that is both successful and meaningful while also reaching your freedom. Real estate grows you up really fast.
It does.
And you don't have to do any deal. You just don't have to.
That's right.
Right? There's too much out there, too much wealth, too much abundance, too many good projects, too many things you can do to try to suffer through creating a portfolio for financial freedom. You don't have to do it.
I want to pivot a bit.
You can create financial freedom.
I want to ask you about
Go ahead, Dylan.
the importance of like truly liking what you're doing, because I've heard mixed. This is maybe a question that is off the beaten path in real estate investment, but I've heard before, like, motivation doesn't matter because just be disciplined and go do it. But my personal feedback and vantage point on this is that if you are an Airbnb host, if you're in short-term rentals, one of the things which will make you successful is actually liking being a host. If you're involved in the real estate space as a, single-family home realtor who does listings and represents buyers, you probably should enjoy talking with lots of new people who are maybe looking for first-time homes and that sort of thing. And I'm involved in distressed real estate, and one of the things that I'm looking at more recently is like land deals and infill lots. And I just love the idea of, hey, what can this space be? Can this be a rezoning? Can this be, an ADU? What's going to be the cost of a new build in this area? What are, flips going for? So when I look at all this, some people will be like, well, yeah, that's all boring. And I'm like, I love that. I'm curious to get your perspective on finding something that you actually like and how important is that just in general?
Okay. I'll try to keep it short because you just hit one of my favorite topics. Okay. I'm like, love this. Okay. Skills, right? What are you skillful at? Right? What are you talented in? Right? Right? Those are two things. What do you want to be doing? You take those three elements. I have the skill already. I'm naturally talented at talking. Like for me, I'm good at talking. Don't ask me to write anything, right? I'm good at talking. So ask me to talk through something, talk to somebody, and what feels passionate for me? What do I love showing up for? Now, real estate is such a vast field. You can take those three items, create your window of not just the asset class, but who you are on the team. You can have multifamily and you can have capital raisers, you can have project managers, you can have interior designers, you can have people who are, running the construction crew. They can be swinging a hammer. Like we have so many spaces inside of real estate that there's no reason to create a job for yourself in real estate that is going to be counter to who you are. Now, that being said, I told you before, I get up at 6 a.m. and I meditate, and I pray, ground, and meditate every morning. I focus on my I ams. I create a sense of discipline in my mind and in my focus so that I can achieve the goals I want to achieve. Discipline will help you get there. But there's an ease to the engine. There's a slipstream that gets created when you're in your box and then you apply discipline. Now you've got a little bit of a secret formula going, because now you're going to be in your slot, in your lane, right? Stay in your lane and have the discipline to be able to drive yourself forward.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I think there's a balance, right? Because when people talk about, kind of just like white knuckling their way through some of these situations, maybe there's something to that. But I also think that you can burn yourself out, and then you're like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, because you're not doing your passion, you're going to burn yourself out. So if you're not following your passion.
We've got our rooster going off on the ranch. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm in North Dallas. Sometimes he makes an audible appearance.
That's all right. Hey, everybody has their way of living and where their lane is, right? No, I think that there is an application of discipline that is based in a sense of joy. There's this pulling oneself forward when you know what it is you want to do, what you can contribute. There's a joy that shows up. So the moments of discipline come and go. They don't have to be this ongoing grind. And if it becomes that, then you're right. You're going to burn out. And maybe you're not really fine-tuned into your lane because you're having to apply too much discipline too much of the time. I love praying, grounding, meditating, my I am statements, the vision I'm creating. I'm excited to engage in that. The discipline is in setting the mindset. It's not the rest of my day. The rest of my day is rolling through the joy of being able to talk to that person and do this and create that project. I'm now back in creative mode. Yeah, I'm slotting my time. Let's be clear. I'm spending a half hour on this and a half hour on this and a half hour on this, but I'm not struggling. I'm not fighting my own system. I'm not swimming upstream all day long.
I want to ask you.
Talk to the balance you're talking about.
For sure. I want to ask you about the kind of interweaving or the intersection between spiritual psychology and business. And I think we're really hitting this here. It may not seem like you can potentially profit from having something that is a spiritual element to it. But I do think that if you feel connected to what you're doing, you're going to be more invested. And if you feel like it's providing you energy versus taking away from it, you're going to be more able to put time into it. And so when we're talking about burnout and this type of thing, when you went into your master's degree, did you kind of see this playing out, or were you interested for other reasons?
Yeah, I was interested for other reasons. I got a bachelor's in business, and then I thought, oh, you know what? I don't know if I should do business. Got politely fired by my boss. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do business. and then I got a teacher's credential. Oh, I help the kids because I love kids. Right? That's another passion for me, kids, right? And then I went, well, I don't know if I want to be a teacher. So I went, okay, well, the problem with kids is their parents. So now let me get a master's in psychology. And I'm like, but traditional psychology doesn't really have a lot of healing in it. Spiritual psychology was really more focused on what I felt like was healing inside, right?
Sure.
We have to deal with our subconscious, our memories. We have to be able to go into our subconscious and process through the memories that we don't have, that we're not aware of, or that stop us from our success. So that's the spiritual psychology side. So then I started a business, and I was now coaching 90 different teachers inside the business I started. Sat songs, yoga instructors, meditation instructors. And they're like, well, can you coach us professionally? And I'm like, well, I guess I could. So now here I am on this meandering path, and then there's a moment where it all lined up and said, oh, I should be a coach. And I was a coach in business, and now I'm a coach in real estate. Because how else do you merge psychology and the process of real estate? Now, you touched on something which I'd love a moment to touch on as well.
Yeah,
Money and psychology, or money and spirituality, people constantly think are against each other. And actually, I would suggest it's the other way around. Money is a tool, just like time is a limiter intentionally on the planet. Money is a tool also on the planet. And if you avoid using the tool called money, you're actually stopping yourself from being successful in what we're supposed to be doing. Not loving money. Loving money is a mistake. Loving what you're doing gets you a lot of freedom and passion. Money is the tool that creates it. So when you respect it as a tool, just like you cook your meal, you respect fire, you respect money as a tool. So to avoid money because of the sayings in a spiritual text, which is great and wonderful to read and be involved in and believe in, and I believe in, the wording is important, which is the love of money. It's when you love money instead of understanding it as an item that's useful to you, is when you truly get confused. Then you stop yourself from actually being able to fulfill what your purpose is because you're not willing to use the tools that are in front of you. It's a tool.
Yeah,
it's not a pet. It's not something to chase.
I think when people think about it like a conflict thing, like they think like I'm living to work or working to live, versus it's all kind of one realm. Like all of this is so that you can live a fulfilling life. It's not one thing or the other. I think that's a way more, I would say, holistic way to look at things, healthier in general. But I think it's very, I would say, American of us to think like I'm going to just work really hard for 9 or 5 and then I'll have the rest of my time to de-stress and then back at it again the next day. And then I'll have a 2-day weekend and I'm really looking forward to a 3-day weekend. But especially as entrepreneurs, like if you were to look at things from that lens, there's probably going to be someone who's going to outwork you then because they're more fired up about it. So it's interesting. I haven't spoken with someone who has the kind of the background that you have, but I can definitely see how that would be advantageous, certainly in education, for sure. Christina, we are coming up on time though here. Where can folks go if they want to learn more about your business or maybe get involved maybe in some of the education that you have going on out there?
That's easy. So ChristinaSuter.com. So Suter is Suter, Christina with a CH.com. Or Live a Rich Life, which is what I'm passionate about helping people do. So livearichllife.info. And both of those, you can set up a meeting with me at the end, at the, set schedule meeting. Or you can actually just do the old fashioned and you can call me. Or you could text me at my cell phone. I know it's weird, but we could talk direct. 310-463-5942. 310-463-5942 is my actual cell phone, guys. So give me a text and we can set up a time to chat.
Christina, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.